Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about this newest development with the awakened Shinju, because for as much of the story that has begun expanding the lore of the awakened Shinju, now giving us deeper insight into their evolution process and a major potential weakness for all of them except for Jura, it has also further planted the seeds for an eventual turn of at least one of these Shinju against Jura himself, despite Jura being the leader of the awakened Shinju. That is why in today's newest Naruto Explain video, we are going to triple down on our previous stance that Hidari will be the Shinju most likely to turn away from Jura at a moment where it is least expected and lead to one of the biggest subversions of expectations that fans reading Boruto 2 Blue Vortex will have gotten. As a quick reminder, the chapter review is up on the channel currently. We got delayed a couple of days due to the chapter review editor losing power when that storm hit earlier this week, but he still managed to turn in a review that is up to par and keeps up the quality of the prior chapter reviews of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. So check that out if you haven't already. Throwing that out there because I've gotten a couple of you guys ask me where's the review. Review went up late. Now, Hidari's connection to Sasuke's chakra, in particular the emotional yin aspects of his chakra, makes him vulnerable to Sasuke's deepest, darkest feelings. In particular, his love for Sakura and Sarada, his wife and his daughter respectively. You also have Jura's warning about love being a hindrance, and that foreshadows Hidari's potential internal struggle that is coming, which could lead to him hesitating or outright refusing to kill them, mirroring Sasuke's own fierce protectiveness that could break through the surface. This would directly contrast what we see with Matsuri, who lacks a emotional imprint and therefore has no problem consuming Konohamaru. She literally ran into a moment where he refused to allow her to call him by a term of endearment. She lost her mind and she proceeded to try and consume him. Hidari has shown interest in Sarada, asking questions. Now he knows his stuff about love. It'll be very interesting to see how Sarada reacts and how Sakura reacts whenever Hidari does come into contact with them. So let's look at why Hidari going after Sakura and Sarada, in particular Sarada again, makes the most sense. Outside of obviously Sarada is Hidari's primary target. So Sasuke's chakra contains emotional imprints. Chakra in Naruto carries not only power but also emotions and fragmented memories. Sasuke's chakra, which fuels Hidari's body, contains his love for his wife and his daughter. Jura himself acknowledges that love disrupts logic and instinct, meaning that Sasuke's deep emotional bonds might act as a subconscious barrier within Hidari, because we have to look at one of the biggest things regarding Hidari. When he was made of Sasuke's chakra, Sasuke was thinking very strongly about his daughter. He never intended to walk away from that cold battle alive. His daughter was the last thing he was shown thinking about, telling Boruto, protect my daughter. At some point, you know, those thoughts also raced over towards Sakura, because Sakura is the person who, when you read all the epilogue stories that are out there, he credits Sakura just as much as Naruto as having been there to pull him out of the darkness. This is also something to look at when you look at Hidari's perspective, as love as being a sickness. So when Jura brings up love in the chapter, Hidari is the one who likens it to a disease, implying an inherent rejection of it. That's his knee-jerk reaction. However, his reaction may suggest that he is already aware or becoming aware of such emotions within him. He just didn't understand them at the time. But now that Jura has begun explaining everything, this could be a situation where the dots start connecting for Hidari. We have seen numerous instances where Jura has been shown giving Hidari a side eye. In particular, when he first started questioning what their purpose was. Why is it that they have to start going after people? And then when he said he was going after Sarada, Jura gave him another side eye. And then in this chapter, when Jura is explaining everything, Hidari is shown quiet, as if he's processing the information given to him. It's very subtle, but it's very similar to how when you read Naruto's manga and you pay very close attention to Itachi's interactions with the Akatsuki, there are moments where Itachi just outright pauses and does not say anything. Those were foreshadowing moments leading themselves up to the whole reveal of Itachi was the double agent and really working to undermine the Akatsuki. This is the same thing, but on a different level. Now, if Jura also believes that Shinju must overcome love the way that he said, then it is possible that Hidari, in his attempt to try and further understand what is going on with him, might try to eliminate the sources of love that Sasuke had harbored, that Sasuke kept as an anchor, Sakura and Sarada, to purge himself of Sasuke's lingering emotions. The same way that Matsuri in the chapter is so certain that if she consumes Konohamaru, that madness in her mind, that madness that we know as love, it will ultimately go away. Now, the other thing is that the Shinju's instinct to consume, it is also there. Matsuri has no hesitation in trying to consume Konohamaru. This suggests that all Shinju, while they are affected by love, this suggests that all Shinju are affected by love, but to varying different degrees, and they all respond to love in different degrees as well. If Jura recognizes that love could be an issue for some Shinju, then Hidari is likely to be the exception, one whose emotions interfere with his instinct to consume. We see it again. Matsuri had no hesitation wanting to swallow Konohamaru up. This is something that would be different here. The other thing is that we have to look at why Hidari has other reasons to turn against Jura as well. Jura's foresight, it foreshadows a rebellion. Jura predicts that love will be a problem with these awakened Shinju, meaning that at the bare minimum, at least one Shinju is bound to struggle with it, which is why he is saying so urgently they need to overcome it. Hidari being formed by Sasuke's chakra, Sasuke being someone who has an extremely strong connection to yin chakra being your spiritual energy. Your spiritual energy is directly connected to your emotions. And the Uchiha clan are a clan that is bound by love. It is the most likely candidate to be Hidari, in my opinion. If Hidari does end up struggling at some point, whether it be hesitation, it could be interpretation by Jura as a weakness, and it could potentially lead to Jura stepping in to get rid of Hidari as well. It's not by mistake that Jura was the one who recovered Hidari's Thorn Soul Bulb in the first place. That's lesser likely to take place because at some point we do know that Sasuke's Thorn Soul Bulb has to get recovered unless you do the very bold thing and you just kill Sasuke off. Now, love as a catalyst for breaking control is the other thing we have to look at. So Sasuke, despite his cold and logical nature, especially in part 2, at the end of the day, Sasuke, when you really get down into his character, he has always placed love, in particular love for family, above anything else, even though there are different degrees to it. So his love for his clan, and in particular the sacrifices Itachi made him disconnect himself from Naruto and Sakura because he needed to restore the Uchiha clan. I've done a whole video breaking down what that truly means and why restore the Uchiha clan was connected to Itachi and not having a bunch of babies. But in the very end, even Sasuke, even as he turned his eyes toward the entire ninja world, Naruto is still able to break through. Sakura is still able to break through when she got over to him after Naruto finished talking. Sakura is still able to build him up during the blank period. So this is something where we have to look at if Sasuke's lingering chakra ends up affecting Hidari. The same prioritization could end up manifesting at some point. Instead of being a mere extension of Jura's will in the way that all these Shinju appear to be, even though they operate independently, they all still seek guidance from Jura. Hidari could slowly develop his own agency due to Sasuke's residual emotions, and that's even more likely when you just consider one more thing. The Shinju, their whole character arc is about evolution. Part of evolution is walking one's own way. And Boruto Part 1, one of the primary themes of it was breaking free of familiar bonds and expectations to walk one's own way. That could be a continuated theme that we see in Boruto Part 2. This would also further contrast with Matsuri. Matsuri, she did not hesitate. She went right for eating Konohamaru. It highlights the difference in how Shinju are affected by the ones whose chakra that they absorb. The fact that she had no emotional interference and was so easily able to cut the cord and start referring to Konohamaru in a non-honorific way to create emotional separation between them means that she was able to unplug the emotions in her heart enough to be able to kill someone that she was obsessed with. By extension, I believe that you run the risk of Hidari going through a more unique struggle. And this makes even more sense when you get into the Buddhist and Shinto and folklore parallels, because they are there. And this is something I haven't talked about with this particular topic. So in the Buddhist tale, the story of Ashura and Karura, that's one of the things you have to look at. So in Buddhist stories, the Ashura, which are demonic beings, Naruto's story made Ashura look like the good guy when it's really the angels that are the good guys and the Asuras are the bad guys. The Ashura, they are obsessed with power, but they are often undone by their emotions. On the other hand, the Karura are divine birds. That is the natural predator to the Ashura. Yet some Ashura become attached to the ones that they fight, and that ends up creating an internal conflict between the Ashura and the Karura. Hidari's situation, it deeply mirrors this. If we go down this route, he should be a predator, but his lingering emotional connections make him hesitate, setting him up for a potential downfall, especially if he encounters both Sakura and Sarada at the same time. I don't think it's by mistake that we see Sakura presented in the manga so soon after Hidari was shown trying to kill her daughter. There's a connection coming there. The tale of the Shunten Doji is a old Japanese Oni myth. So the Shunten Doji is a powerful Oni who was known for consuming humans, Oni being demons, ogres, but was ultimately weakened by human emotions and attachments. This also parallels Hidari's struggle. As a Shinju, he should consume humans without hesitation, but Sasuke's emotional remnants, they might weaken his resolve. Now, you also have Orochi and Susanoo, that myth, and this is something that if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you know this story pretty well. The eight-headed serpent Orochi devoured maidens every year until it encountered Susanoo, who fought to protect his love, Kashinda Hime. He got his soon-to-be wife, Kashinda Hime, by basically making her parents promise, hey, if I kill Orochi, I get to marry your daughter. Like Orochi, the Shinju, they consume without hesitation. They go after their targets and they try to devour them. Yet Hidari, carrying on Sasuke's chakra, may become a Susanoo-like figure, choosing to protect rather than destroy. And that would be the yin and yang situation that is being set up with these Shinju. Again, at least one of them is going to turn on Jura, and one of them is going to refuse to consume their target. In conclusion, I'll say this. I think that, again, if we are at the casino and they're talking about pushing chips to the table, I'd be all in on this one. Jura's insight that love could be a problem for the Shinju, I strongly believe it is foreshadowing. Sasuke's lingering emotions will create that struggle within Hidari, making it difficult for him to harm Sakura or Sarada, or potentially both of them, ideally both of them. His initial instinct may be to target them, but the emotional interference may prevent him from following through. Jura's doctrine of overcoming love may push him to force Hidari into submission, which could lead to Hidari rebelling instead, or even potentially Jura realizing that Hidari is hesitating and take matters into his own hands. If any Shinju is going to break away from Jura's control, I strongly believe that Hidari is a likely candidate, because this sets up that poetic contrast. Jura, someone who preaches about complete detachment, may face betrayal from the very thing that he seeks to suppress inside of Shinju like Hidari, which is love itself. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and clicking here on the left to watch the Boruto chapter review if you've not seen it already, or click over here on the right to check out this video from my Anime Explain channel, where I talk about non-Naruto content in the form of video essays, lore videos, explain videos, and so much more.